see a Sky banned out in the early game, even up against Elite 8. But then again, Elite 8 is also known to run this sandwich the carry comp where they have this mage, and then they will pick out like two pillars for the mage, whether or not Catherine, whether or not Lance and Glaive. But Glaive might be priority for the side of Elite 8.
Yeah, Glaive is an extremely strong flex pick early on in the draft, being able to go in almost any role. And so the draft is ready now. So without further ado, we're going to go into the draft.
So just hopping to the draft, I'm not surprised, like I said earlier on, that Infamous would be definitely and going for the first ban on Sky. But then we are just waiting to see whether or not they actually just ban out the Sky or they have another target ban for the side of Elite 8. There's one thing about Elite 8 as well. Anime Save Me and both Official Hide. I might start sounding like a broken record, but then Batiste, they actually banned out Official Hide's Glaive. And I think that's a rather clever ban on the side of coming out from Infamous. And in response to that, we have this traditional standard Lyra banned out. I mean, Imperial Sigil and Bright Bulwark on Lyra is really good in the current meta. I mean, just to sustain alone and just deterring enemies or your opponents from jumping onto your carries with Bright Bulwark is just insane.
Yeah, lots of emphasis on Lyra at the moment, and Glaive, as we said, too much of a flex pick to be let through. They didn't ban the Sky, so I've got a feeling the Sky will be second banned by Infamous because they don't want it to be picked against their. Unless Sky's picked up now, which is highly unlikely. I don't think Elite 8 put a lot of emphasis on Sky as a hero. I've got a feeling that Baron will be let through this game. I don't think Elite 8 want to ban him away. They just because they seem to like to try and counter Baron. It was played against them. I think Artisan played a Baron against them. They did actually quite well at countering it. Arden really good as a captain. We haven't seen that much Arden. We've seen more Batiste captain. We've seen other captains like Lance Grace being played over Arden. So it should be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised if we see echoes on both Catherine and Arden for their ultimates, so that one Crucible can block one of them, but you can't block both of them. And Idris is banned away. That's actually interesting. I would be surprised if Vox isn't banned away this ban. But they may want to just ban the Sky.
Yeah, but I'm actually quite surprised to see the Sky not being picked up by the side of Elite 8 because in previous matches and via history, Official Hide is quite good on this Sky, and I was actually looking forward to see his Sky's plays against this Catherine. I mean, Catherine is such a bad hero going into Sky as well, so they do actually pick up that Arden. Anime Save Me, we saw a really good and outstanding performance on this Arden when Anime Save Me played yesterday with the crucial vanguards and even the Gauntlet just to echo Gauntlet just to throw the opponents off. So I'm looking forward. We do actually see, like you said, a Vox being banned out with the Idris. I'm not surprised if the side of Elite 8 actually do pick out this Baron.
I think the Baron, if it's picked, I think Elite 8 aren't that comfortable actually playing it. They'd rather just let the other team play it and then see if we can counter it, especially against the Catherine. It's risky to play. You need to be extremely good at target focusing the right hero and also not focusing the carry when Catherine's standing next to them, because then you'll take a lot of reflect damage from the Catherine Stormguard if it's used correctly. And so they're probably, they're just going to pick Black Feather, which is a good Baron counter and also a flex pick. You can either go Weapon Power to try and dive on top of the backline, and Baron will be picked up. It's going to be interesting. This is our first Baron we're going to see, I think, today. And so I'm surprised. Obviously, with the Catherine, Baron does work quite well because you don't want to go against the Catherine. And I think they're probably going to go for another poke hero, maybe a Batiste to try and counter that Black Feather, try to counter that Black Feather mobility. But if they do go Batiste, I'd expect to see a Celeste from Elite 8 as just a good hero to counter that. Actually, Celeste's going to be picked up by Infamous, so that it can't be picked up by Elite 8. And now there's not a lot of heroes that can out-poke this, unless they want to go for a Crystal Black Feather. But then there's not a lot of weapon power heroes. They can go Glaive's banned away, Vox is banned away, Idris is banned away. So they're probably going to have to take that Black Feather to weapon and maybe go Crystal, Crystal Ringo, or maybe they're going to go Weapon Ringo. I highly doubt Weapon Ringo against
I personally
this will be a Crystal Ringo. I'm almost certain.
Definitely, like we saw Crystal Ringo being played yesterday, and it was the Echo Ringo. So basically, they will actually just engage with double Hellfire Brew on this Baron just to take him down ASAP. But then, not forgetting, there is actually a Celeste on the side of Infamous. So granted, Celeste can actually outpoke every hero on the side of Elite 8, but then I think the Crystal Ringo was actually brought out by Elite 8 as well, going up against the Baron. Memory is failing me, but then just look at the team comps itself. I personally thought that Elite 8 would just be picking up the Black Feather, predicting a Baron being picked up on the side of Infamous, because honestly, Baron is quite a strong hero at this point in time. It just goes down to position and mechanical skill when you play Baron, but otherwise his damage output kind of out damages all the other weapon carries in game, burst-wise.
Yeah, and obviously against the Crystal Power Ringo, which is almost definitely going to be played, because they did play Crystal Ringo yesterday, as you said. It's important that Baron and Celeste itemize properly against this. If they pick up an Aegis, that does not counter Crystal Ringo. He's one of the weirdest heroes in the game, where if he goes Crystal, his ult Hellfire Brew has 100% shield pierce, so they shouldn't build an Aegis. It will just be pierced through by the Hellfire Brew. You either need a Crucible from Catherine and a Slumbering Husk. That's a good counter, because the Husk will stop the burst damage in the Catherine block. Or, because it's likely he's going to build an Echo, you build a Crucible on your carry and a Crucible on Catherine. So you get the extra 600 health to try and tank the Hellfire Brew damage, and maybe even a Crucible and a Husk to try and just stop that. But an Aegis against the Hellfire Brew, Aegis doesn't do anything. It literally against Crystal Ringo's basic attacks, when he's got his Twirling Silver active, and against Achilles Shot, it will stop that damage. But you play Crystal Ringo not for the damage of that. You just use Achilles Shot and Twirling Silver to finish off people that you've already got low from Hellfire Brew. And even then, Black Feather's the main hero going to be doing all that damage, because if Ringo gets in range of Baron's going to kill him. So they need to build properly. They need to think properly about what items will actually counter Crystal Ringo, and not just go, oh, he's Crystal, we should go Aegis, because that didn't work for the Baron yesterday, and it would not work today.
It definitely did not work for the Baron yesterday, and going Aegis against Ringo, or just you can actually just stop at a reflex block, and then just hoping your Roma would block out the first or the second Hellfire Brew, and then you actually just do the first or the second Hellfire Brew yourself. But then one thing we have to understand as well, I mean, there are other CCs coming out from the side of Elite 8 that is much more important to block out, like say that of Arden's Gauntlet, because you do not want to be trapped, as a Baron at least, before you have an overdrive on your jump jets as well.
Yeah.
Yep. So you
need to be able to get out.
Definitely.
That gauntlet.
Definitely, and being trapped together with Weapon Black Feather, it will spell trouble for you, no matter how well you're playing, because as general consensus is that Baron do not build defense at all, do not need to build defense at all. So there you have it. So, I mean, we are jumping the foes now. So, without further ado, let's just introduce our two awesome, most welcomed and funny casters, Asurai and Riku. Take it away.
Much appreciated, Luxury and Mini Miter. So this is going to be our final, or game one for the finals. Pretty interested or excited to see what's going to happen, as it's actually both of my favorite teams, because again, we casted our first Vainglory game yesterday.
Yeah. And
all through that, I really came to like Infamous, especially Spaghetti, who has been probably my favorite player on a Batiste. So how about you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward as well, because just as we keep, reiterating during the whole tournament that Elite 8 was the spring championships. Meanwhile, for Infamous, they're at the top of the charts right now in terms of the scoreboard for our first week here. So I'm really excited how it pans out. Also, it has the only Filipino player as well. So
and that's also Spaghetti.
Yeah, it's also Spaghetti, and it is the most diverse in terms of like nationalities. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting fact. But then again, one awesome fact about the draft of Elite 8, this is the exact same draft they played at the first game versus or second game rather, versus Silver Boom yesterday.
Yeah, I think that was the one, or rather during the analysis, Luxuria wasn't able to recall, but yeah, that was the match between Silver Boom, and this was actually also the one wherein they, like they said, they went for the standard Crystal Power Ringo, and then that Hellfire Brew just kept just donking, just insane amount of Hellfire Brew damage onto any squishy target. So they got to be really careful for that one.
Exactly. I feel like Elite 8 really likes playing around with the Ardennes comp, like mixing, matching who's going to be their ranged carry for their side. So it's actually a pretty interesting turn of events, but we see official Hein pretty low. It's actually going to recall back to base. All of them has already reached level 2, so that's a good spike for them. Yeah.
Oops. Okay. But so again, this is going to be a pretty interesting matchup because this is where I really like Anime Save Me because he's just that strong. Going into the fight, especially when he has that level 6 gauntlet, up and running, he always finds the mark, and this is going to be the scary thing because it's either the Celeste or the Baron who's going to be the recipient of that initiate ultimate, and then if it's going to be the Celeste, she doesn't have really a lot of mobility, and that's going to make her a pretty easy target. The Baron, on the other hand, if he if he mistimes his jump,
yes,
that's going to be very detrimental here because, again, you're just going to be in range of the Black Feather, and then the setup of this possible, well, actually you can see it now in the items, CP Ringo.
Exactly, and once they reach their level 6, especially on the Ardennes with a gauntlet, it might be a bit scary for the side of Infamous, as Celeste is quite a low mobility hero, if you will, and only like the only self-defense that she can actually have, that she has, is the core collapse for the CC. So I'm not sure if Catherine can do much unless she lands a perfectly timed ultimate just to counter all the aggression, but looks like official Hein is super low.
Official Hein is that low. Gotta back away a little bit, but he'll live to fight for another day. Hold that thought. He's actually gonna be teaming up with his comrades or with his teammates to be able to defend this turret in the lane, possibly just stop the pressure, stop the extra damage coming up, and he's not in that of a bad spot. But you gotta be careful that Catherine, once again, how easy it is to just charge in, merciless pursuit your way into victory and get that connection into the stun, and that's gonna be happening for the meantime. But they let Baron to be bombarded here, but hold that thought, 2 for the price of none. The damage is just there, and oh my goodness, the Celeste is dealing a chunk of just heliogenesis, stars from above, damage output, and Infamous. They get themselves the first blood, but 2 of them are actually pretty low.
Great bait, mate. That's what happened here from the side of Infamous, but look at that, they're charging back in, and that'll be a kill for the side of Infamous.
Ooh, Anime Saves Me. He has blood in his eyes.
What?
All by myself.
I think he just really wanted to secure the kill.
He just wanted to go by himself.
Exactly. That's the perfect theme song for that moment. So, you can smell the greed and the bloodthirstiness of Elite 8. I mean, they have a pretty good run on their, they have a pretty good momentum from their previous matches. So, in going against Infamous right now might be, a tough competition, especially, the pressure is building and stuff like that. I remember they mentioned also in the interview that, one of their look forward to matches is, against Infamous. So they've been topping the charts rather. It's either second place during the previous matches, but this time around they're really performing so well into this tournament.
Yep. I mean, in a way, all eyes are on Elite 8. They are the reigning champions, and if they are able to be defeated in this finals, they technically will be dethroned. And of course, that's not going to be too fun for them. They're wanting to hold off their title. But Infamous is just, on a different scale. For me in this tournament, they've been so on point. On the opposite side is Elite 8, but with that 3-0, it could be, Infamous's key to victory in this first match or in
That
this
is
first
true.
game. Yeah.
Sure, I do agree with you there. But, this is Elite 8. They're the type to, be okay after giving a few kills here and there, understanding their draft, understanding the weaknesses, that, it's going to be okay. Maybe after a while, we'll most likely pick up. And then after that, we'll win one team fight after another. I mean, this is like a typical Elite 8 game where, it's just early kills for the enemy. And then after a while, they're just going to be rushing in afterwards and just overwhelming them with the spikes that they have acquired throughout the game. So yes, we'll see Official Hein still leading the front lines, as you can see.
SNK gonna be the one to actually maybe charge in the lane as the Baron, Spaghetti here in the sidelines, looking to just clear out the wave. So, just Infamous, just doing Infamous things. All he got is SNK to absorb XP, and then when the wave is enough, right for the taking, Baron just goes in and, gets all of that sweet, sweet moolah.
That is true. So, while they were doing this little zoning... Oh, hold it, I thought they were going to engage Catherine, but I guess not. And here comes the damage dealers from the backside.
Black Feather is still in their own jungle farming. That is Official Hein. We have seen how very strong Official Hein's glaive is, but his Black Feather is nothing to be, too trifled about. Solar Flare will actually be... Solar Storm will be actually used by the Celeste. And, the siege is on. Hellfire Brute to actually connect onto Uni. Gets the immediate heal, and she has to back away! The Baron is going a little bit too crazy into the back line, and that's the power of the bombardment of the Baron. Just using the kaboom. All of them bees all day long.
All of them bees all day long, wow. So, right now, it's really the damage, like two ranged members from the side of Infamous, so they're taking advantage of their draft. I mean, Celeste really makes these zoning pressure, which means Elite 8 might hesitate a bit if they want to charge in. We haven't seen Ardon just yet show up because they're taking advantage show up just yet with the gauntlet. No, not just yet, because I think they were hesitating a little bit because I think they're not prepared just yet, plus their HP was a bit low. So after a couple of kills, they managed to get a turret, an objective, no consolation prize whatsoever for the side of Elite 8. So 5-0 at the moment, and a really impressive gold lead. So they keep charging in. Here comes the stun.
Initiation might be commenced by Infamous, and like you said, it was just a stun. Not overcommitment here for Infamous just yet, but as I say that, look at the damage coming in once more from the Baron. Official Hein has to back away. There is the Celeste just dropping down the hurt with that Heliogenesis. And Genesis is the start, but this Celeste is looking to be the end for, E8 in this game number 1. It's going to be a huge drop of the gauntlet, but that won't stop the bombardment coming in from Infamous, and they are just showing their true colors right now. SNK, he wants more blood, but there's going to be the turret to follow through, but still.
Wow, the
Hallelujah.
pressure. Yeah, the pressure keeps building against Elite 8. It's like Infamous is not allowing them for room to breathe at all. They just keep going, because I feel like they're not the type to really rely too much on ultimates so that they can be effective into team fights, especially that their CCs, like the core collapse plus the pursuit coming from the Catherine, is just so easy to set up the fights for themselves. Plus, they're not lacking in damage, so if they want to burst someone down, even though it's not a kill, that person is forced to back away. So if Ringo backs away, then it's only Black Feather left, it's only the Ardan left, and you won't be able to actually reach or scare them away enough for them to, retreat for that aggression. So it's a really good early game so far from the side of Infamous. 6-0 as well.
Yeah, aside from that 6-0, they're going to transition into a fairly uncontested gold miner here. So is that immense gold payout? I'm looking to see. It will be 300 gold for each member. And E8, a little bit too late to the party. They weren't able to fight it. And while Infamous get all the spoils for the meantime. And aside from that was the first, I think, gauntlet that I've seen from Anime Save Me that was, well, for a lack of a better term, lackluster.
Yeah, it was a defensive gauntlet. It's not because they were already at the turret. Ringo was already forced to back away, so it's more like they used the gauntlet to scare Infamous so that they would, not take another objective off their hands. So, so far they're playing this really well. Again, not giving Elite 8 room to breathe at all, because as I see it right now, it's just so hard to reach Uni and Spaghetti at this point, especially both of them have their own ways to defend themselves. Like Baron can just dash away or jump jet away somewhere else and gain.
Eddie! Oh my goodness, this is just a domino effect of disaster. The double Ds just coming out from E8. One turret to follow as well, and they are not stopping at all. Infamous still looking to push. Official Hein, as actually the other members of E8 are here, but still.
Yeah, I mean, Infamous is playing their draft so well. They definitely know what their core strengths are and taking advantage of the weakness of Elite 8. So they're not allowing, for them to reach their prime, Elite 8's prime, for them to actually do a counterattack or fight evenly. So right now what Infamous is doing is that they are doing their best to keep that momentum for themselves, get the snowball rolling, and then just keep going at it until they've reached game 1. But I don't know. I feel like Elite 8 is really the type of team that can be really patient and stall as long as they can till they reach their conditions, power spikes. But Infamous is, I don't know, they're really looking good.
Yeah, one step forward. I think like maybe Spaghetti, when he starts playing that one Eminem song wherein there's like, Mom Spaghetti, because it's very hype. So I think maybe
it is.
Yeah.
It
so when they start running and then he just plays that, I feel like Infamous will be unstoppable. But yeah, you're actually right. E8 still haven't found their stride just yet. Their power spikes are way off, and Infamous have accelerated themselves into a 7-0 kill lead.
Yeah, and 9k gold lead as well. So, yeesh. Infamous really just taking control over the map and not giving, Elite 8 the space they needed for them to actually recover after all these losses of, objectives, and not giving them anything at all.
And with that in mind, what are the other options here for E8? I mean, those are 0-2 in terms of the success rate of a gauntlet play coming up from the Arden. And if that trend continues, it's just going to be Infamous capitalizing on yet another mistake that E8 might actually be doing here. And Infamous, the Viper strikes. Watch out. It's going to be the Catherine to start it, but I'm not going to dip into the water too deep. There's another immense gold payout, so that was just maybe a distraction play for, for an easy gold miner.
It is possible. Also, it's one of those objectives that they can take, since Elite 8 is very defensive, very wary of the situation that they're in, that they're so behind in terms of kills, gold, and as well as items, of course. So now Kraken has spawned into the map. We'll see if they're going to use this Kraken as bait, and Elite 8 will try to take advantage of that. Flares and vision going up all over the map just so that they can find the perfect timing. Will there be a steal, Azrai?
I mean, stealing the Kraken would be a huge advantage here, or at least a comeback for a comeback something for E8, but well, Baron has to say otherwise. Goes in aggressive, and he is just jumping rockets all day long, baby. I mean, it's just gonna be, he's just gonna blast, and he's gonna go in, look for a second kill, and he gets it. And although this Kraken actually was taken by Infamous, they also get themselves 2 kills and the right to push the lane.
Yeah, 16-minute mark, 9-0 on the kill score. Man, I mean, Baron snowballing like this is just too explosive to deal with. It's just gonna, once he just combos in all his skill sets on towards a single target. I mean, that's without lesson to the formula. You're just gonna be forced to back away and respect that. So now that the Kraken has been acquired by Infamous,
Iron Cannon. Oh, he hits 2 members. Doesn't even need to use the Porcupine Barrage to bait them into the ultimate. It was just perfect positioning from Spaghetti, and he is going a little bit too crazy here. Another Solar Storm, and well, Hunt Jaegers will be able to survive, but well, their base wouldn't. The vein is exposed, and it'll be popping well shortly afterwards as this, well, Kraken is unleashed, and that was 17-minute game. That was just way too fast, way too furious, and well, Vin Diesel would be happy with that one.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
10-0, that was like the perfect game, not even losing their own turret as well. So all these fights are just going on to Infamous with Elite 8 with no response whatsoever. They weren't given the chance to recover at all, and Infamous just really knew how to play their draft well. I'm very impressed from this game 1.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I really thought it was gonna be E8, but you know what? I'm not gonna say again. I'm just gonna say that I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of, still E8 had some discrepancies in that one, but to further have more to have more inputs into that one, we'll be giving it to our very handsome analysts. Take it away, Luxuria and Minimiter.
Thank you. That was what a fantastic game. Well played by Infamous. They just picked the Baron and they won the early game. As soon as Baron got his Solar Blade Tension Bow, he went, right, I'm going to kill someone. And then he did. And then he killed someone else. And then Arden chased him under turret. And then they died. And Crystal Power Ringo could not get towards the mid to late game power spike that he needed because Baron had got there first. Baron fully built around 15, 16 minutes in, except for boots, and then he was fully built near the end for the last team fight. And if you're at that position, it's just there's not much you can do.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the team comp coming out from the side of Elite 8, it actually worked against Silver Boom because Silver Boom did not capitalize on Baron's spike the moment he got his Sorrow Blade, and they didn't run the same team comp like the side of Infamous. I mean, we have Uni in the jungle, and once Uni got to her level 8, she just went up to lane and just helped out Baron, and that's how Baron actually got all those kills. I mean, it's just 10 kills on the side of Infamous, but then just so early on, we saw a 10k gold lead on them as well. I mean, Infamous definitely did understand the fact that Echo is a really expensive item to build on someone who's falling behind, and even when Hunt Jaeger actually managed to build that Echo, it was a tad too late. With Crucible actually coming out on this on Spaghetti on this Baron as well. So honestly, this is really well played on the side of Infamous, making full use of their comp and understanding where the power spikes are, and understanding the fact that Crystal Ringo might be a reliable check to Baron, but then if Baron actually gets there before Echo does, then Baron definitely will win the fight.
Yeah, definitely. It was extremely well executed by Spaghetti. And I think the fact that the Celeste managed to get to level 8 because Blackfeather couldn't invade and push the jungle because Ringo was being kept behind in the lane, because Crystal Ringo is not going to win the early game against anyone, let alone a Baron. Blackfeather had to just try and help Ringo in lane and only take his own jungle. Celeste was free to get 8, free to get Overdriven Heliogenesis and just destroy. So the draft is ready. So without further ado, we are going to go into the draft.
Yep, and just so
I think Elite 8 should ban Baron. I think they tried to counter it. They couldn't, using that composition that happened before. There was a couple of misplays, Arden going a little deep under turret, and they're just going to get rid of it. It was worth a try, because if they'd have won that game countering Baron, then that puts a lot of doubt in Infamous's mind, thinking, if we can't beat them with Baron, what can we beat them with? But
definitely. But there's also, just to update the viewers, the results are in. We just received the update. Popeyes actually won Artisan 2-1. Third place goes to Popeyes. So congrats to Team Popeyes for getting the third place in VG Summer Split 1, Brick 2. Anyways, just hopping back into the draft. Sorry. So just hopping back into the draft, we are seeing the Baron ban, like you said. Elite 8 must be afraid of this Baron because since the Crystal Ringo is not a reliable check to this Baron, they might as well just ban it out. So in response to that, Infamous actually bans out a Glaive and then Elite 8 picking up the Lyra.
Yeah, another Glaive ban away from Elite 8. They do not want to see Glaive being played. They think it's too strong a flex flick, and they think that Elite 8 are just too strong with playing Glaive. We've already seen how Glaive can destroy when it's weapon, and when it's crystal, and when it's captain, and whenever, as long as it's on Elite 8. They're going to pick the Vox. They do not want the Vox to be banned away from them. And if they don't ban Idris here, I'd be surprised if Idris, or maybe Blackfeather, maybe they're more comfortable Blackfeather countering the Vox. But I'd prefer to see an Idris counter the Vox if it's not banned away. But it is. Smart ban. Idris is a fantastic Vox counter, especially with the Lyra. That means the Vox will not get away from your Idris because there's a Lyra to keep Idris nice and speedy. I'd like to see Batiste ban because Batiste is probably going to be picked up if it's not banned. And they're actually going to ban Grace. We haven't seen Grace at all. But they don't want it to be played against them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, with a Fox and Grace, I understand the synergy that's behind it. I mean, because Lyra is someone that can actually provide kills. And I think Elite 8 do not want Infamous to actually get access to that as well. So, I mean, the Idris ban is actually really, really good. Coming out from the side of Infamous, just because Idris is such a reliable counter to that of Fox, barring Baron. But since Baron is already banned out, then Idris is the next intelligent ban. So we are seeing Catherine being picked out on the side of Infamous. We saw Catherine being played really, really well in the previous game as well. And I'm really looking forward to see what this Catherine can bring to this table in a different comp.
Yeah, I think they wanted to pick the Catherine instead of going for the Batiste straight away, is because they didn't want to be just hard countered by something. So obviously, I've said before, Petal hard counters Batiste, but Petal isn't in the meta at the moment, so he's probably not going to be picked. But there are other good Batiste counters, like a Celeste if you want to do a poke comp. So they just want to pick the Catherine and going, okay, whatever you pick, we want to keep our last pick as a jungler to just try and hard counter whatever jungler you do. You're probably going to pick Gwen, maybe a Blackfeather to try and counter our Vox, and so we're going to just try and counter your jungler with our last pick. And if they do go for the Batiste, Elite 8 go for the Batiste, they actually go for Gwen to try and 1v1 this Vox. Gwen will be slightly stronger in the early game with a very likely tension bow picked up, but Vox should outscale Gwen into the late game, even though Gwen has got a stun, whereas Vox only has a silence, so that is harder to see for Gwen. And they're probably going to pick up Batiste here. But if they do, it's probably going to be a Celeste picked up to just counter that. I wouldn't like to see Celeste for the Elite 8. That means they're triple squishy and they're countered by Taka. They're going to go Sky. Similarly, they could be countered by Taka quite well, but Lyra's all right against that. So Sky to counter the Catherine, and they're just going to go, yeah, Sky's good into Catherine, and see what you can do to try and counter our Sky.
Yep, I'm not surprised if the side of Infamous actually just wrap up their team comp with a Taka pickup, because like you said, Taka does really well going up against Gwen and Sky, but not forgetting there is Bright Bulwark from Lyra as well. So I understand the Lyra pickup and I understand the consensus behind it. Like you said also that Gwen will be stronger than Vox in the early game, but they will actually be seeing a Celeste, and we saw Celeste play really well for the side of Infamous earlier on in that game, and I'm really looking forward to see what Infamous can bring to the table with this team comp.
I think the draft, with the draft, I'm going to have to go with Infamous because of the Celeste being able to massively outpoke the Sky in the jungle. But it's going to be all about execution. I've got a feeling Elite 8s are going to be so comfortable on Sky that they're actually going to be able to turn the unfavourable draft around, and they're just going to be able to destroy using Sky. And obviously, the poke from Celeste isn't that much. If she doesn't land as many Helios and Supernovas as Celeste needs to do the poke, Lyra will out-sustain it quite easily with the Imperial Sigil. So it's going to be all about execution, and you can't discount Elite 8. They're going to be very comfortable on Sky, having picked it up.
Yep, definitely. I mean, we've seen Official Hein on this Sky, and Official Hein is just a monster. But anyways, just going back to the team comp coming out from the side of Infamous, there's something I want to point out is that in the late game, we have Celeste, and Celeste actually outranges Gwen for Poke White. So I can see Celeste putting in a lot of work in the later game, and then Vox just being there just to clean up, just to be in the forefront together with that Catherine. I mean, granted, Gwen does actually have a harder CC as compared to Vox, but then Catherine's stun, the Merciless Pursuit, is actually a more reliable one at all. And also, they have double stun coming out from the side of Infamous, and they have double silence coming out the side of Infamous as well. I mean, with such a heavy CC comp, and especially in a meta that, you know, heals are a thing, CCs are a thing, then I really have to go with you, and I do actually favor the Infamous's comp as compared to the side of Elite 8. But of course, not discounting the early game power that the side of Elite 8 has. I mean, Sky does so well going up against Catherine. Catherine's Storm Guard do not counter and do not deflect any damage from the Sky's Fault Barrage or Suri Strike for that matter. Then also because you have Gwen with the A ability that can actually outpoke Vox in lane. And of course Lyra would definitely be in lane, just harassing, you know, Vox and just harassing Vox, and of course just trying to pass the Vox, and so Vox cannot farm in the early game. But then again, they are Infamous, so they will definitely find a way around it. I mean, we have a Catherine, which in the other regions, and some analysts actually do agree that Catherine does really well against a Lara as well. I mean, with a stun, with silence, you can actually just take Lara out of the equation and just make sure Lara is really useless throughout the team fights. But then, of course, there are better carries to stun out. So what do you think? Who do you think has... I mean, you told me that Infamous has a better comp, but execution-wise, if one team or both teams execute their comps to, you know, the apex of they can, who do you think would actually come out on top?
I still think Infamous would win if they execute it properly, because if they execute it perfectly, Celeste is going to land all of those Heliogenesis and Supernova. Lyra has no chance to out-sustain that if Celestis keep poking. But that's what I think, that's what the analysts think. But for this game, we are going to pass it over to the fantastic casters for the possibly final game. We've got Azurai and Riku.
So thank you again for that intro, Minimiter. So what do you think? Composition-wise, they've said that they like Infamous. On my end, I would also agree because like it just feels a bit more balanced out. But how about you, Riku?
Yeah, I guess I have to agree for the side of Infamous, but only if they manage to survive the early game, because that's a really they've got the perfect sustain for the side of Elite 8, but with the aggression that they have now, they can potentially try to poke them out. But then again, there's the Celeste to actually try to relieve the pressure coming from the opposite team, especially Gwen. Hurts a lot. Just as they mentioned that she hurts a lot during the early phase of the game. So it's all a matter of, again, what they mentioned is that execution. But then again, Elite 8 is very patient in terms of playing their draft. If they have a plan in mind, they will try to, you know, aim for that. But then again, Infamous just 2 steps or 3 steps ahead of them.
Yeah, that's true. So as we are on our possible last game here for the Vainglory 8 Southeast Asia Summer Season Split 1 Week 2 Finals. Well, let's just have a rundown of our players. We have Hun Jaegers on the Gwen, as well as Official Hein with the Sky, and Anime Save Me playing as the Lyra.
Yes, Spaghetti on the Celeste, Uni on the Vox, and S&K for the Catherine.
So this is just like Infamous again, just gonna go with somewhat of a standard setup here. They have backline damage, they have good auto attack as well with the Vox, and then Catherine is, like they said, a really sure type of initiation because of that Merciless Pursuit, and that's gonna be showing right now as they get the catch off onto Anime Save. He tries to dash away, but to no avail, and that's gonna be another first blood being taken by Infamous. Good start.
Definitely a good start for Infamous. This is what they need so that they can put Elite 8 on a tight leash, and for them to not be able to land the necessary damage. It's an easy setup for Catherine.
So his strike comes out from Official Hein. He's trying to fancy footwork with this Sky, but well, the question is, will Sky be the limit here for E8 as Infamous starting to again, get a good start, rather have that first blood in this game. Although I'm trying to see if E8 will find that answer. I'm gonna have to see. This Gwen is the first time that we'll be able to see her in the tournament, rather.
Yeah, for E8, their composition is definitely not the type to start a fight pre-level 6 just yet. They're more like, we're just gonna keep either poking you with Gwen, or we're gonna wait for you to make a mistake, as they have a ton of damage at this phase of the game, and they can easily punish those sort of aggressive plays, especially that, Catherine in the early game is a bit squishy. Of course, you want to get into the stun. You can see the stun coming with the pursuit, so you can easily burst someone
down. But speaking of burst, SNK might be the recipient of that burst damage coming in from E8. Although, he will at least be able to put his back under turret and be safe for the meantime. While that was happening, look at Spaghetti, been rotating and getting all of these free moolah in the jungle. So he's been not actually hard pressed to get any form of economy right now, because he is just standing a little bit, on the good scale right there. Infamous pushing onto the lane, and while that happened, jungle intensifies.
Yes, sir, Ray, and that is a level 6 Spaghetti already. But oh my god, instantly dead! I didn't know I even made a land.
I know, and that's not a crime, as it looks like Infamous is gonna be, showing their true colors once more and hoping to break down this turret. For the meantime, it's again Infamous catching off E8 one after the other. Like you said a while ago, this is somewhat of that deja vu looking scenario here, and SNK just stacking up that passive, or that trait, getting the connection on the stuns, and Uni has to back away. There's gonna be the burn. It's gonna be so close. Nice body block there from SNK. He keeps Uni alive.
Whoa, that was such a close sigil clutch. I mean, that could have been the death of one of the members coming from Infamous, but then it was not enough. But Spaghetti tries to chase Anime Save Me down, but I guess it's not gonna be enough. But wow, Infamous. The thing is, Celeste here has no pressure. There's no jungle pressure whatsoever. She's been free farming for the past few minutes, and Catherine is charging in again.
There is gonna be the Imperial Sigil just for the sustain of Hunt Jaegers, but this Gwen has still yet to prove its worth. Uni gonna be looking. Oh, okay. He was actually hoping to go for the anti-recall there, but to no avail just yet. And yeah, so it's gonna be level 6 at 4 minutes for the Celeste, and possibly.
Whoa, a level 8 at 6 minutes as well. So we're gonna see. I thought they almost had the Vox there, but I guess not. Perhaps he's still going to be in a pretty safe spot for now, as the problem is there's not really hard CCs to rely on to keep chasing.
1, 2, those were just 2 Heliogenesis. It just became into the supernova. And I mean, Anime Save Me is on a Lyra. If she can't be able to put out the heals, that lockdown from Catherine was just enough so that they counter that, and as well as the follow-up damage from Spaghetti would have been enough.
Yeah, the problem is with this composition, with all those painful damage coming from the side of Infamous, that it's a DOT heal that you want to maximize, you want to prolong to the battle, so it's not going to instantly really save you. So if ever the side of Infamous try to pursue you, then the Arcane Passage can be used defensively to gain some distance on towards your own turret, on towards your own base, so that you have a slight sense of safety. But you always have to be wary, as they have already level 6 SNK, not just yet, as well as the Vox, but
they don't need to, because there's no possible Arcane Passage for this one. That's only a level 5. Save me. That was just a clutch Imperial Sigil. The damage from the Supernova is just being bombarded here by Spaghetti. Who is the real death from above? Is it the Sky, or is it the Celeste? Well, the answer says it all, or rather, this game is saying it all. It's going to be Spaghetti on that Celeste. They even break down a turret right here, and Uni Well, he wants more blood, but, well, for now, his blood thirst has been sated.
Man, the composition of Infamous is just, they can start it off with a Catherine, or they can just keep pressuring them towards their own turret, zoning them with all of the heliogenesis, and just kite with a Vox. So it's a very, very balanced composition, and they're going to be a bit hesitant to actually start the fight because they know that when SNK charges in, then the ultimate coming from the Catherine.
What are you doing there, mates? Are you even in the right jungle? Yes, you are, but it's just going to be Infamous invading all day long, almost getting the catch off onto Official Hein. But yeah, you know why this is going in favor of Infamous?
Why?
Because they have Celeste, who is, from the stars.
Oh.
And then they have Sky, which is below stars.
Okay, that was... I did not see that coming.
Oh yeah. But you know what you gotta see coming is the death from above from Official Hein. Damage! The damage! It was just enough. He was pinned down from left and right, and that was gonna be it. Solar Storm to connect. There is gonna be Aces High from this flanking Gwen, but still, she is in a bad spot. Good connection from the heals here from Anime Saves Me, and they are just trying to protect this secondary turret for the meantime, but still, Infamous 5-0. They are looking to finish this game quite early.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult at this point of the match, as I don't know, there's a lot of safety on the side of Infamous, but meanwhile for the side of Elite 8, there's a lot of risks that they have to take, and there's not much shutdown or disengage that they can do if ever Infamous actually starts the fight. I mean, got the Aces High, that's a stun. But then again, I don't think anyone would want to try to go near everybody else because you've got a lot of heliogenesis that are zoning the area for you to actually fight on. So, as well as the Vox. So, it's Infamous has a really good
threat combo. In close range damage, it's Uni. In frontline initiations, it's SNK, and then for just again that artillery barrage for the backline, it's Spaghetti with the heliogenesis. And then when there's someone who's very low in HP and they need to reach it, you got that solar storm for them. So they got that, like I said, the triple threat combo. But then at the same time, on E8's side, I mean, Official Hein's been doing a lot of damage, even Han Jaeger's on the Gwen, but the thing is, Anime Save Me has been getting caught out so many times.
Yeah.
And this was actually just seen on the second game. It was very much seen on the first game when he was, well, not really caught out, but then his gauntlets again were very lackluster. And here comes the push by Infamous.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened earlier as well during the Lance and Celeste combo, where the Lance will just impale. Stun will not connect definitely here as they retreat. Infamous has baited out a couple of ults on their side, only from the Sky though, but still available. Gwen still has it, and the Arcane Passage as well for Lyra. So, as I was saying earlier, it just has the somewhat same concept. Whenever Lance goes in to impale, then you combine it with a Heliogenesis Supernova and just burst that target down, with Vox managing to finish off the low health targets whenever Celeste manages to burst someone down rather. So I don't know, for Infamous, they're just doing really well, playing their strengths right.
Yeah, this game is going a bit slower because if you think about it, 12 minutes in, the Kraken is still not yet up. But as I say that, it was actually Uni on the Vox to be able to get another turret. Here comes forward barrage coming in from the Sky. And good thing enough, Anime Save Me with the heals. He'll be able to top off his teammates as long as they don't dip too much into the fight, into the fray. And for now, E8 might have found a little bit of a gap here in terms of how Infamous are going to be pushing this one. If they go overcommitted into the base, again, this is where EA can just go in a little bit, harass, go back to their base, heal up, and then just do the formula over and over again until Infamous has enough time to maybe wait for a Kraken. But then maybe E8 has the fight prowess to go up against that.
Exactly. But the thing is, the gold lead is slowly tipping over the scales, and it's a 5k gold lead already on the side, as they have more control over the jungle side. So that's restraining resources for EA to actually get back and try to mitigate the gold gap between these two teams. So EA just finding a mistake, just finding the correct opportunity.
SNK, I mean, they are looking for the opportunity, but you have to take note that Infamous is doing just the same thing. Official Hein going aggressive. Look at the damage there from the forward barrage. Going in with the Suicide Strike, activates another barrage, and he is just focusing down onto the Catherine. Nice sidestep there to stop the damage from the death from above. But still, they have to back away. Nice flank maneuver coming in from the side of E8. But now, we can't see the exit out from Infamous. They're going to say, we don't want to dip in too aggressively here. We don't want to overcommit because we know that SNK is just being chipped down so heavily. And they will get themselves a Trent, a little bit of a heal, and they're going to be good for that one. Let's fight for another day.
3 ults actually baited out from the side of E8. Meanwhile, Celeste did not. But they're going to be securing more objectives around the map as they zone away and secure more vision in this side. So Infamous, very patient. You know, it's not because they know that they've reached already level 8. Elite 8 is definitely much stronger than before. That's why Infamous is a bit more reserved in their place. They try to hesitate a bit more. They're not committing to it 100%. And so they're just gradually gathering their own start restricting and maybe slowly put the gold lead in their favor, as it's still a stable 6 to 5k gold lead for the side of Infamous. But definitely you saw how painful Sky is, and that is without Gwen on the battlefield just yet. So Catherine will be the key here to actually catch someone hard if they really want to burst someone down with a box and the Celeste. So right now it's just a waiting game, and probably gonna bait out a couple of kills using objectives like the Kraken here.
Enemy says we gotta be careful here. He's gonna get caught up right there. The timing from that one, he almost got into the clutches of death, but Infamous will not be able to capitalize. But hold that thought, Hun Jaegers gotta be a bit careful as the Solar Storm to get out. And oh my goodness, separation is the name of the game from Infamous. Heliogenesis in all aspects of the ground, all aspects of the battlefield, and the damage is just too real. That's a death from above, but it doesn't really hit anybody from Infamous right now. There's gonna be 1 kill, 2 maybe here, but the Arcane Passers to provide at least some safe way for Anime Save Me, but they left to dry Official Hein, and well, little by little, 0-6, and even the possibility of a Kraken here, a little bit more of what we like to call in this esports industry, or in any esports game, another nail to the coffin.
Exactly, and this is practically deja vu. I'd be surprised if the game is gonna end like 0-10 before the game ends. So Kraken actually being secured by Infamous, that was the perfect timing, as they have lost another member on their side, which is Sky. I mean, the good thing about Infamous is that they have like 2 strategies in their head whenever they try to do the sieging. It's like you see that there are 2 members on the side that just want to try and do something aggressive, and then there's only 1 person defending. So 2 people in the jungle. So that means they're more flexible. They might be prone to flanks, but they're okay. They're fine with that. So that means more room for them to actually chip down the turret. And if they
Whoa, indeed. Solar Flare connecting onto 2. Look at that. The follow-up is just too real. 1 more to go, and they will be able to get 2 kills. 3rd one indeed as well. The dive onto the HQ is real. Uni will take a couple of crystal turret hits, but this Kraken is still with a lot of HP. And what can a solo Hun Jaegers do? He is on the Gwen, but this Vox, Uni again on the Vox, unleashed like a beast. And this is it. They're gonna go for the feast. And, well, these guys came from the east. And there we go. GG. WP, it's gonna be Infamous to take it all, and they are your Week 2 champions, ladies and gentlemen.
That was so hype. I'm very impressed by Infamous there. The gap between these two teams in this matchup was just so... I can't describe it. It's like Infamous just basically knows how to play around the comp and what their strengths are. Like microly speaking, they executed it so well. You saw how SNK just dodged every skill shot that official Hein threw out onto the terrain. It's just like, I'm gonna avoid your skill shots because, again, we already mentioned how their CCs aren't as reliable as compared to a Catherine, where you just walk up to them and then you auto attack and then it's stunned. So GGWP, really well played by Infamous.
Yeah, E8 had no answer to the Catherine whatsoever. Maybe just that one point wherein official Hein was, chipping him down with the forward barrage, but that's about it. So, to give us a bit more insight on what happened on that finals game, a 2-0 here for Infamous against E8. Well, Minimiter, what do you got to say, man?
Thank you for that. That was just extremely well drafted from Infamous, really. In the first game, they managed to get the power pick of Baron, and they got Celeste, and they won the game from there because the Celeste wasn't really countered. They went for the Black Feather, and when the Baron was picked, they decided to counter the Baron with a CP Ringo, which does work in late game, but does not work in the early game or mid game at all. And then Celeste was not counted really by Black Feather. Black Feather's all right into Celeste, but you need someone like Attacker who can properly dive in onto Celeste without any worries. And then in the second game, it was more of a comfort pick Skye that was picked up for Elite 8. And the Gwen isn't the strongest, especially compared to Vox. Vox will generally beat Gwen unless Gwen gets a snowball from the early game tension bow that she picks up. But because Gwen couldn't do that, actually Skye rotated up to lane a lot. Skye rotated up to lane almost for after she took every jungle rotation. But Celeste didn't. Celeste just took her backs, took off mid, and took the Elder Tree, I think 3 times, maybe even 4. And so Celeste could just farm up so much, got level 8 6.5 minutes in, got level 6 4 minutes in, and that meant that Celeste had already ramped up to her mid to late game power spike, and Skye did nothing to stop it. So it was extremely well drafted and well executed from Infamous. They do take it 2-0, but that is it for today. Infamous are the week 2 split 1 winners. I'm sure Elite 8 are going to come back on Saturday with a bit of vengeance and really going to want to try and win the next week's games. But that is it for today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the teams for playing, and thank you to my fantastic casters for helping me along with it. But without further ado, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you later.